Alright, this review will be absolutely spoiler free. No gameplay or story stuff, nothing. I will also add, if you have been spoiled on something, do yourself a favour and play the game for yourself. A lot of the leaked spoilers out there are fake or sound worse without the context of the complete story. If you do enjoy the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Okay, here we go. The world of Last of Us 2 is a dark and dreary hellscape that has danger waiting around every corner. Whether it's from enemy factions, infected creatures, or the structures and locations themselves, everything in the game seems to be out to get you. But that hasn't stopped Naughty Dog from crafting an insanely beautiful, and at times horrifying, seamless playground for us to sneak, run, climb, or even shoot our way through. The amount of diverse locations in a game set primarily in a single city is baffling. You traverse through housing areas to shopping districts, over to lush forests, into underground industrial buildings like zoos, hospitals, flooded streets, apartments, aquariums, beaches, and all whilst encountering obstacles such as blocked roads and doors, floods, roaming enemies, buildings filled with infected, destroyed highways, and almost every encounter or roadblock on the journey is accompanied by small details and story tidbits throughout, whether it's from like NPC and character dialogue or notes and items found scattered around the world. Naughty Dog has come with their A game when it comes to detailed environments, and making the world seem real and ever-evolving, adding to the fact that locations you travel through are all varied in some way, and it doesn't have the traditional video game trait of paths looking and feeling the same as the last for the most part. This game doesn't immediately show you where to go when you're entering a new area. It makes you explore and figure out a way to get to your goal, just as the character naturally would. This all pairs extremely well with the gorgeous graphics and top-notch animations. One of the big things that sticks out to me with this game is the small, minute details in character and NPC animations that Naughty Dog are very well known for. It's the little things like how the character opens cupboards and drawers, having them actually having a look around inside, or when you're upgrading your weapons to actually seeing them pull the gun apart and tinkering with it, instead of just a quick cut to the new attachment or whatnot. There are heaps of examples of this throughout the game, of the characters looking and actually feeling like real people, and not just a video game character waiting for you to press the button. I could count on one hand studios that will put this much time and effort into things like this, and Naughty Dog is definitely one of them. The game transitions from gameplay to cutscenes so seamlessly, sometimes it's unnoticeable. It reminds me a lot of what made Final Fantasy Remake so goddamn good. Anyway, now for the fun part, the story. It's extremely hard to talk about the story of this game without spoiling it, so I'll try and keep it short on this one. I loved the story of Last of Us Part 2. I think it's in almost all aspects better than the first. This time around the story doesn't focus just on Joel and Ellie exclusively, but on multiple characters and the relationships between them. It also focuses on showing more of the world and what connects the people who are still around to live in it, even if those people may be at odds with one another. There are pros and cons to this way of storytelling, however. The story we get is overall not as tight and closely woven in a linear sense of storytelling as the first game, and I think it lacks as strong of a bond between Joel and Ellie too, while at the same time expanding on their relationship in new ways and the relationships of those around them in a way that no one could have predicted. The game's theme of pain and loss is ever present throughout pretty much all situations you go through the game. I love the inclusion of these little notes you find around the world that details other strangers' experience and what they have or are currently going through. It just adds an extra layer to the story and world building. Good shit. There are some dragging moments throughout the early parts of the story, but it doesn't take very long until you're thrusted into the next story beat or location change. And that's probably about as much as I can say without starting to spoil shit, so on to something else. Lastly, I want to talk about the gameplay and the overall feeling you have whilst playing The Last of Us Part 2. The gameplay, whilst very similar to the first game, has definitely improved dramatically when it comes to the immersion and the feedback. What I mean is, like how the game blends combat into storytelling and world building. The game will make you feel like shit a lot throughout your playthrough, which is such a strange thing to say. When you kill enemies in this game, it's not the traditional, hey look, I found a body, let's spread out. It's someone standing over the body of their comrade or friend and quietly saying, oh fuck, they got Kimmy. Or cries and yells when you blast away their other friend with a shotgun. It makes you feel very uncomfortable when you put down a soldier just to have their guard dog cry at the feet of their dead corpse. Yeah, it's kind of f***ed up. Once again, bringing up attention to detail. When you shoot someone with your rifle and their arm comes flying off and blood splatters across the nearby walls as they're screaming out in agony and pleading for help. There are plenty of parts in the game where you're blasting through waves of enemies without batting an eye, because the combat is not always dark and depressing, especially when you're being chased by huge groups of infected or driving through the Seattle streets with your rifle mowing down archers on horseback. The game contrasts itself so freaking well with balancing these two very different styled encounters, which makes for an incredibly satisfying gameplay loop. The Last of Us Part 2 takes the story, characters, and world that we know and sheds new light on them, evolving them into more fully realised concepts, whilst improving upon the scope, feel, gameplay, and overall presentation compared to its predecessor. The game may drag in some sections, but it makes up for it with beautiful set pieces, exciting stealth and action gameplay, a fantastic story, and great character interactions, which makes for an incredible 30 to 35 hour experience. I give Last of Us Part 2 10 out of 10 golf clubs. Now I know what you're thinking, you're sitting there going, man, what a fantastic bloody review that was. I love the fanboys so much, but I want to hear Dakota's thoughts, I want to hear Gary's thoughts, I want to talk about all the f***ing spoilers in this game, I want to spoil the shit out of it, I want to know all the bloody secrets. Well, don't you worry, ladies and gentlemen, Fanboys' spoiler discussion of Last of Us 2 will be coming very, very soon for you guys. So there's so much in this game that I really want to talk about that I can't because it's too spoilery. So I'm really excited to dive deep into it with the boys. Don't worry, stay tuned. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff, and we'll be seeing you guys very, very soon. All right, bye bye.